Mary Monson is been in charge of efforts at technology transfer and working with industry and university partners and other types of entities at Sandia for more than 20 years. So Mary, just tell us a little bit about how we work with external partners and where they can find more information about it to just get us started on our dialogue.
I have a couple of view graphs while I'm getting those shared. I just want to thank George and Bruce for emphasizing the importance of partnering and also the economics of this effort. I think those are really important and germane to. So at Sandia, we cannot execute and ultimately deliver on our mission without international partners, US government, state, industry, academia, and community. And so partnering is absolutely critical. And of course, this engagement or, looking at a holistic approach really brings a lot of innovation. And a clear objective we have as a national lab is to maximize the public good through partnering. Next. So these are just 3 examples of technologies that we've teamed with university partners and really to get that foundational research done. And then we've been able to get these technologies out into the world for impact. And that's really the ultimate goal that we have. You see the, cleaning of the seawater at Fukushima, lead-free solder, and more recently, we've teamed with Biotech around hydrogen units for low-cost hydrogen. And literally getting those technologies out in use is critical to this effort and so many others. Next. So Alaska's been talked about. I have to give George Rowe a shout out. We are partnering with Alaska Ocean Cluster and Launch Alaska, thanks to connections George made for us. And these are really focused on, with the Ocean Cluster crab byproduct utilization, and then with Launch Alaska, mitigating climate change for some of the companies they're working with. And then we have work in Puerto Rico, which, you may be aware of from the lab perspective. I wanted to touch on just a few things we're doing in New Mexico, working with the communities here. And DOE has given money to the tech transfer offices at the different labs to engage with some of these non-traditional partners, because we've normally, engaged mostly with universities, industry, small business, those kinds of organizations. But through this special funding that we received from DOE, we have a project with Santa Ana Pueblo and Maya Ventures, where we're looking at a renewable energy test bed, and with a couple of communities in New Mexico, looking at solar issues and grid with the village of Cuesta and then El Rito. And this I won't spend any time on. This is just for your awareness that we at all the national labs and of course at Sandia for sure, we are working hard to identify funding sources to fund the Valley of Death, which is most of that kind of green and salmon area, to get these technologies out into use. And we are educating a large part of the research community at Sandia to understand customer discovery, value proposition, what can be the final applications for their technology. So with that, I will turn it back to you, Nancy.
Great condensation of the huge amounts of efforts and work from your team. But it stimulates, I think, some of our discussion and how we could leverage those efforts that are supported by DOE at the lab. And then Romero, you have some examples, I think, from David Campbell of how, from the university perspective.